Hello, welcome to the Brain Scrub, a somewhat improvised approach to mental health. My name's Glenn Sollers, and thanks for tuning into today's episode, which is the last one for 2024. Glenn needs a winter's nap. It's been one of those years where did some great travel, had some amazing time with family, with community, with friends, with work. It's just been relatively outstanding, and I'm tired. and I've been so lazy today. I went to the gym this morning and I did a bit of work, and then I did some yoga nidra, and then I went in the sauna, and then I was trying to relax, but then I got bored of relaxing. Then I was doing something else, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to record my last podcast for 2024 today. So first of all, welcome to December 2024. Wow, lots is going on in the world. Donald Trump's going to be the president of the United States, and oh my gosh, in our country, that's causing chaos. This is going to be an interesting 2025, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's a bit of a mystery to me, and I'm not liking it too much. I think most of us like to control things and have predictability. And I've talked about this before. Gabor Mate, famous Vancouver physician, said, yeah, we need a sense of predictability, a sense of buy-in, and a sense of control. And Donald Trump, gosh, he doesn't do any of that. So, of course, he's causing stress around the world. And but what I can control and what I can influence is what I do and how I live. And yeah, for the most part, it's going great. And that's what I wanted to talk about in today's podcast, not about my life, about my top 10 gifts in terms of my own mental health and managing myself and living my best life. What are those top 10 things that I can give you that you can unwrap and try to do yourself if you are going through some tough times, or just in general things to do that I've seen tremendous benefit in. Now, this list I'm going to give you is not in any particular order. This is just my best advice. I'd like to remind my listeners, I am not a physician. I'm not a psychologist. I have no qualifications in giving you this information other than I'm sharing my own personal experiences. So do what you will. Don't do what doesn't feel comfortable, of course. This is all up to you. But for me, these things have really worked out well. And I'm going to share a bit of a story around most of them. Number one on my list is based on the work of Carl Jung. And Carl Jung said we all have a shadow self, and that is what's also used to be known as our blind self. The stuff within us that we don't know is actually there. And it's also known as the Johari window. We have stuff that's known to us that others know. We have stuff that is not known to us, but others know it. And then there's stuff that we don't know, and there's stuff that others don't know about us, and there's stuff that I know about me, but I'm not going to share with you. And the shadow self is more I think it's taken a progression. So the way I like to think about the shadow is that stuff that we have within us that is not good stuff. We put it in the shadow, or maybe it is good stuff, but we still put it in our shadow self. We don't really recognize that we actually have it. And it's easy for us to project on other people and say to them, you're the problem, you're this, you're that, which is really, in a lot of cases, our own stuff that we have, that we repress, that we don't show people. And what we try to do in a lot of cases, and this is so important around trying to be authentic in life, is if we can connect with our shadow self, it actually leads us to greater authenticity. So to evaluate, what are those things that I'm repressing in myself and I'm pretending that I don't have it so that I can show up as a good human being? Because we all have shit that we're hiding. And if you're denying it, then that's part of the problem, that you have it. And in some aspects of your life, it's probably showing up mainly when it comes to, in my experience, relationships with others, and where we might not get along with them, or we're causing friction in a relationship. In my opinion, in a lot of cases, that is our shadow self. Now, I learned years ago that I have this shadow of I'll show you. And that's my fight back position, is if you tell me I'm wrong or if you're challenging me, I'm going to belittle you. I'm going to be condescending. I will show you that I am more powerful than you. I will try to win, but the consequence is I lose a lot. I lose connection. I lose myself. I lose love. I lose happiness. And when I started recognizing that I do this sometimes, I know where it came from. It came from my childhood where I could never do anything right. So I've grown up with, well, I'm going to show you that I can do it right. How dare you notice me that I'm doing something wrong? But I repress that throughout my life, but it shows up with others, but I don't know I'm actually doing it because it's in the shadow. And what was happening was my nonverbal cues would give it away that I'm being defensive, that I have this defensive approach, that my eyes get wider. I might have a different tone of voice, but I was unconscious to that. And a great way to learn about your shadows is to ask people, like, what do you notice about me? When do you notice that I'm not being real with you? What is it that I'm doing? And to think about those situations and what is the act you're trying to put on when you're not being real with people? Because that's not your authentic self. Your authentic self is, you're just out there doing your thing and you're happy and others people are happy and they're connected with you and you're creating like love and camaraderie, all these different things. But by investigating our shadow selves, we can start seeing where it plays out. And we all have it. It's not a bad thing or a good thing, but to notice it and to then say, now what do I do? So when somebody challenges me now, I take a step back and I breathe. What do I do about that? And then I make a decision. So it's partially emotional management as well. I know if I'm not being authentic because I feel a lot of tension in my neck and my shoulders. And the more authentic I am with people, the less tension I have. The deeper I breathe, the more connected I am. So are you faking it sometimes? And why are you faking it? And what shadow, like the dark side of yourself, might you be repressing? Right. Another example of this is, and I heard other people go through this as well. So I'm glad when I heard that because I thought, wow, am I just going nuts? And sometimes when I'm on a high bridge, I will look down. I'll say, I wonder what it's like to jump off this. I wonder what that would feel like. I wonder what it'd be like. And thank goodness the dark side of me doesn't do it. And the light side of me says, you know what, Glenn? It doesn't matter. Just walk on. Keep on going. Keep on going. Those little devils we have on our shoulders sometimes can try to cause chaos, but thankfully I have control over it. Number 2, Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is something I was introduced and heard about through the Andrew Huberman Lab, and it has been a super amazing gift for me in just relaxing and letting go and getting in touch with my body. I've been doing it for probably about 8 months or so, and you can get videos on YouTube. Just type in Yoga Nidra, Nidra, and there's this Canadian, I believe she's Canadian, Ali Boothright, and her Yoga Nidra I found fantastic. It took me a while to get used to her voice. Her voice is not as soothing as my voice is, but then it became soothing, so I got used to it. And I find it's fantastic. After a Yoga Nidra session, I'm just feeling great. And there's different lengths you can go for. I recommend what's called the body scan, where you, for 60 minutes or 30 minutes, you're just scanning different parts of your body. And it gets you out of your head. But I still find I get into my head once in a while, but then I can go back to my body. But sometimes I fall asleep. I notice I start snoring. Different things like that. That's number 2. Number 3 is to listen more and listen without trying to fix yourself or the other person. Manage that voice in your head. Now, for me and for others that I know, we all have this voice in our head, this chatter that keeps on going and going and going, listening to respond and make sense of the world, but to sometimes shut that voice off and just be there, listening to the other person and what they have to say without thinking about your response, but then afterwards just pausing and thinking, they just said that. Now what do I do? This takes effort for me. I'm doing more of it, and I need to focus more on it because I'm noticing I am more present in conversations now. I feel less anxiety. So listening actively to somebody is really important. That's number 3 on my list. Number 4 is be with those people that you feel you can be with. And when I say being yourself, being your authentic self, feeling a sense of acceptance. There are certain people that I don't feel safe around. I was recently at a social gathering and there was one person there that I don't feel comfortable around. And I always question, are they telling the truth? Are they just trying to be nice in a fake way? Like, to me, it just feels really inauthentic and I struggle being with this individual. I like him a lot. He's a great guy, and there's something I don't trust. And as a result, I feel uncomfortable. So when I look at all my friends, I've had to focus on those people that I feel great with and just be with them. The others, you know what? I can hang out with you once in a while, but it's not about quantity of friends. It's about quality of friends. And to find those individuals or those settings where, you know, I can just express who I am, embrace myself, and then others will embrace me. But if I'm trying to protect myself, then it's going to be hard to let me out and let others in. Number 5, notice your negative behavioral patterns and how your brain is keeping them alive. This has been a big piece of work for me. I grew up feeling rejected, and I ended up finding myself in situations where I was being rejected. And if I wasn't being rejected, I would do something to be rejected. Now, it sounds weird, but that's what happens sometimes, is our brain has a certain way of thinking about who you are, and it's a program, and it's trying to run that program. And if there's something that's conflicting with the way my brain is programmed, it's going to say, no, you're not good enough. So you have to get out of that situation and be rejected. Now, I wish this wasn't the case, but this happens. And if you really think about your life and those situations that aren't working for you, or you keep on doing the same thing, like marrying the same person again, or being in the same type of relationships that haven't been working, it's an addiction. And noticing those things so you can actually just stop it and stop those relationships and stop those patterns of behavior. And this, for me, like, I was bullied in school. I was kept back a grade in school. I didn't have a lot of friends. I felt rejected. And my first marriage, I was allowed to be bullied. I didn't stand up for myself. And then with certain friends, I didn't stand up for myself. It was just a pattern that I kept on getting into. And now that I know those patterns, I'm not getting into them anymore because I'm not going to repeat my history. Otherwise, I'm just going to do the same old thing that Glenn's always been doing, and I don't need that. I never resolved conflict, and that was a pattern that I had as well. And then I kept on hanging on to things. I burned out, and I learned the hard way. You need to deal with conflict. You don't want to hang on to that stuff. Just manage it and address things for sure. Next one is to be real with others. This ties into the other point I had around authenticity, but here it's been more powerful for me with my work, where I'm noticing my scores and my workshop evaluations are generally high when I compare to previous years. My marks are coming back really great. I find people are engaged, that people are having fun. I'm having fun. And it's because I'm being real. I'm being open. I'm being vulnerable. I'm letting go. I'm not worrying about people and what they think about me. I'm not being distracted by those people in the group that may not be paying attention. I'm just focused on those that are there for a great reason, and that is to learn and develop. And then I'm having more fun. And when I'm having more fun by being real, then others are having more fun and they're being real. And you're just creating more and more authenticity, more openness. And when I look at my evaluations, that's what a lot of people get out of the workshops, is they say, you know what, I've actually been able to share myself and open up, and I learned something about myself, because wherever we go, there we are. Okay. Number 7, trust and listen to your emotions. Don't suppress them. If you're feeling pains in your body, get it checked out if it's chronic. And sometimes if you just sit with those pains and focus in on them, they will disappear. And if they don't, you could even ask in your mind's eye, do you have a message for me? And wait for a response. For me, the message generally that comes back is to let go. Let go. I used to not acknowledge my emotions. Not good. Leads to many different challenges, possibly. We are emotional creatures. We've learned in a lot of cases to suppress them. Don't suppress them. Acknowledge them, be with them, learn from them. Number 8, get off social media. I was just listening to Jonathan Haidt, who has a bunch of books out there. And what I'm seeing in this world and what I'm hearing from teachers is we're becoming more uncivilized. We can't focus. We're so distracted. And it's getting worse. And anxiety rates are going up. ADHD rates are going up. Suicides are going up. We have a mental health crisis that is happening. And based on what I'm hearing on Jonathan Haidt and based on what I've heard on other podcasts, social media and smartphones is a huge problem. Think about how many times you pick up your phone every day, even at night when you're not working. Are you looking at your phone constantly? I know I do that, and I have to stop doing that. I need to put the phone away and not look at it. The challenge is my phone has my books on it. It has my Duolingo on it where I'm learning Spanish. So it creates a bit of a dependence. I don't know what the answer is here, but the less you can look at your phone, the better. So choose things that you're going to stop doing. Maybe it's stop going to TikTok. Stop going to YouTube. Don't go to Facebook, because what the companies are doing out there is they're learning about you, and they're making sure that your phone is more interesting than your life. So you're going to look at your phone because that's more fun than what I'm doing right now. Look what those people are doing. And we're wondering why we have this loneliness about us, or that we're spending so much time alone in many cases. And I know it's easy to point fingers at kids and say, you know what, they should be off their phones. But adults, we're part of the problem. We're a huge part of the problem. And our kids are role modeling our behavior. So we need to practice what we're preaching and get off social media. We're just feeding this engine that's going to cause more and more havoc as we go forward. where everybody's out there trying to get attention. Yet we're doing it all alone. Next one, number 9. This ties into authenticity, but it's a bit different. It's embrace those friends, love those friends, be with those friends that you feel good around. Again, it's not quantity, it's quality. Who brings out the best in you? Who has your best interests in mind? Who's willing to give you feedback? Who can you share stuff with? Who can you talk to on the phone for hours on end and you never run out of things to say? Have those people in your life. Now that's one way of getting away from social media as well, is to actually socialize and be with these people. I have one friend, actually a few friends, that they call on the phone. We limit texting. We're just on the phone. What a novel idea. Okay, the last one, number 10 on my list, and this is great for around the holidays because you're about to spend time with family, is resolve your conflict. Anger and resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Resolve your issues. Don't gossip about other people and say that they're the problem. They're doing this to me. They're the issue. No, that gets us nowhere. You're just breeding negativity and you're like a virus growing it elsewhere. Deal with your stuff. Deal with the shit. Clean it up. Make the mess so that you can let go of your expectations. You're maybe the problem. Sometimes our thinking is flawed. There's a famous saying, there is no good, there is no bad. Our thinking makes it so. Who are those people that you have in your life that you have some bad thinking about? Because most of us are doing the best we can. And we just want love. And I learned this from my relationship with my father. I pushed him away because I felt I can never please you. You get mad at me all the time. I'm just going to be independent. And then he passed away and I found out that he just wanted to be a part of my life and I never let him in. Who are you not letting in? What's the reason you're not letting them in? Is it something that happened way in the past that you're hanging on to? Clean the air with those people around you so you can have connection. Family and friends are so important. Don't let little things upset the apple cart. It takes a lot of courage to resolve conflict, and it can be the greatest gift to give somebody else during the holiday season. Happy holidays, everybody. Talk to you in 2025.